Hey, Andy, welcome. Hope your week's been okay. My week's been okay. It's a bit strange, not having a job right now. My new job doesn't start until December 9th, so first time in 22 years that I haven't had a job, so it feels a little weird. Um, Not having an alarm to wake me up and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean it's okay. I'm getting caught up on a lot of my YouTube training and that sort of stuff that I need to do, and getting closer to rolling out memberships, which we're going to be doing before or right around the turn of the year. I think we'll be rolling out memberships for the channel. But yeah, it's been good. Yeah, it's like I say, it's kind of strange. Um, yeah, it's kind of strange. I get days where I wake up and I have just a whole bunch of energy to do stuff, and that's the days where I, install a new doorbell on my house, or I fabricate a plate for my computer to keep the cats from hitting the power button on the top, and um, all sorts of stuff like that. And then there are days I wake up and I just go, you know what? I don't have anything to do today. And I just sit in bed reading. And then an hour and a half or so later reading, it'll put me back to sleep, and I'll go back to sleep and wake up and do it again. So it's a very odd feeling uh, to be going through. But I am I am playing a lot more. It's much easier to catch up and get ready for the weekend's live streams. Uh, so that's good. I don't have to stay up until late at night to do that, which is nice. But yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like I say, it's since I know it's temporary, I'm not going through, a lot of effort to try and find stuff to fill up my time. It's just kind of like a sabbatical, I guess, 3 weeks away from work. So I'm not going out of my way to find stuff to do. I just do the things that I need to do here. But yeah, like I say, it's an odd feeling, but it'll go away soon, and I'll be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day to go to work. No, that's not a problem. I mean, everybody has their own preferences in games. It's not a big deal. I'm really enjoying it so far. Um, have my off-stream playthrough that I'm going through and that sort of stuff. I like the I like that there's a lot more exploration in this one than there has been in the past or in the Mass Effect games. So I like that. Gives it, I mean, it's obviously not an open world, but it gives it much more of an open world feel to it that I like. There's a lot more puzzle solving and that sort of stuff during the exploration, which I also like. So, hey, Dinosaur, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I know I'm going to. I'm not the type of person who goes in unprepared or who skips from job to job. I had my last job for 22 years, and I absolutely love what I do. I've known what I wanted to do since I was a kid. Hey, Ostamura, welcome. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. But yeah, Dinosaur, I know I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna be doing some of the same things I was doing at my previous job, but also helping this company expand their capabilities into new things and new platforms that I haven't experienced before. So, and I love learning. So it's gonna be fun for me. I'm gonna really enjoy it, I know. And hopefully this will be my last job. You know, my first job took me through 22 years, and hopefully this one will take me through the last 20. And kind of go from there. Yeah, that's right, Andy. And that's why I always make sure that YouTube is not becoming work. It's a job. It's a second job that I have, but the last thing I ever want to have happen is for playing video games to become work. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to turn what I enjoy doing into something that I dread doing every week. So, and what'll happen is, like I say, right now, like I've told you guys a million times before, I don't care about the channel growth, and I don't care about the money, and I don't care about any of that sort of stuff. You know, happy making your, you know, $1 a month or whatever it is. I'm much more interested in just playing the games and having fun doing it and interacting with all of you and that sort of stuff. If I put work into my channel, I could probably grow it much faster, but then it becomes work, and again, I'm not interested in doing that. You know, I'm thankful for all of you that show up, you know, in a week to take a look at the channel and hope that you stay. But if you don't, I mean, it's certainly your choice, and I'm never gonna ask you to stick around or to support me if it's not entertaining for you. And that's kind of the same way I feel about doing the job as a whole. If it's not fun for me, then I just won't do it. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Yeah, Andy, I mean, I'm in the construction industry. I'm on the engineering side of things. But yeah, I've always enjoyed that aspect. I look at kind of like, you know, there are three main things in life that you need to survive. You need food, you need water, and you need shelter. And I'm happy that I can be somebody that provides one of those three basic necessities in life. That's very true, Andy. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 33 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some admin notes, this week they released a new hotfix, and this one is for console only, and it's kind of a big deal. It has certainly ruffled some feathers on the forums, and understandably, from a certain aspect, it's also ruffled feathers on well, it's actually impacted a very, very small minority of the players, but everyone can certainly understand how those players would be upset. So, Hotfix 29 is a console-only fix, and what it was really meant to do was to affect performance and crashing on consoles where you're using mods. And this, we expected this was going to be a problem, honestly. This isn't the first game that has dealt with this. I wish that this would have been handled more preemptively rather than reactively, but it is what it is. They implemented a new hotfix that limits the number of mods that you're able to install on your game at any save to 100 maximum. Now, like they ask in the hotfix notes, how many people actually play with more than 100 mods on console? Well, they just recently reached that limit. I mean, that number of mods on console that you could actually use. They're currently working on getting many more approved, and that's kind of why they're doing this. But consoles have serious memory limitations when it comes to loading that many mods and keeping them all loaded at the same time. And they've implemented a hard limit of 100. And what that means, what the impact of it is that if you are currently playing on console and you have a save game where you have more than 100 mods enabled, you are not currently able to access that save and load it and play it. Now, they have said that this is a very tiny portion of the community, but again, everyone can sympathize with those people who are suddenly locked out of their save file. And that's what's kind of caused a bit of an uproar on the forums concerning it. They are currently working on a future fix in which they will allow you to edit the save file on console to remove mods from it to get under that 100 mod limit. I think that should have been done prior to them issuing this hotfix, but then again, there's a lot of technical reasons behind the scene that I don't know about. That may have meant that they didn't have a choice to do it. It doesn't sound like Larian to lock people out of their save files before they have a fix ready for that to happen. So there's probably some other things that we don't know about that triggered the hotfix to have to be done now. But they're currently working on a fix to let you edit those save files on console and get you down below that 100 mod limit so that you can open that save file up to be played again. Now, what this also means is that if you're on PC and you're doing crossplay, PCs do not have that limitation. So if you are on PC and you're doing crossplay with someone on console, you need to be respectful of the fact that they have a mod limit. So you can't load more than 100 mods on yours because then it will continue to lock them out of their save file when the cross save happens. So make sure that you're being respectful of the players that you are working with in multiplayer while they go through this. Like I say, it's been fairly decisive or divisive right now on the forums, and I certainly understand it. So for you console players, hopefully they'll have the fix out fairly shortly that will let you edit those save files and so you can get back into your games. But until then, just hang tight, and I'm sure Larian's working on it. Another admin note is next week for the holidays. Here in the United States, we have Thanksgiving or Indigenous Peoples Day, and that is on Thursday of next week. I am going to be traveling from Tuesday, and then Tuesday early morning, and coming back, and I won't be back until Friday late at night. So what I'm going to do, I don't like leaving the live stream up in the air. My plan is to be back here Friday late at night. However, things can always go wrong during a trip, and I want to make sure that things are ready and prepared. So there might not be a live stream next Saturday. I'm not canceling it as of right now. I'm going to wait and see how it goes. I can't really, with honor mode, prep a 3-hour video to go up and then come, if I don't need it, go back and play it live, because I can't go backwards. So I'm going to decide relatively early this week whether or not this live stream will be live next week or it will be pre-recorded. I'm leaning toward the fact that it's just going to be pre-recorded, and then I will pre-record 3 hours of the Dragon Age Veilguard live stream and have it ready just in case. But since I can go reload previous saves if I don't need it, I can just go live on that. I just don't have that option with an honor mode playthrough. So pay attention to the community tab and to posts on social media, and we'll let you know whether or not one and or both of those live streams are just going to go up as videos next week. So pay attention, and I'll let you know as soon as we find out. And hey, Depote Guy, welcome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And Rudy, thank you as well. Welcome. So I think that's it on the admin notes. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we finished up the fight against Merkel, the Apostle of Merkel, I should say. And that went extraordinarily well for us. He got off one set of attacks that missed, and that was it. We ended him in round 2. So today we're going to jump in and explore kind of the aftermath of this, and then we're going to head into Act 3, into Rivington. So there's going to be quite a bit we have to do here. So the first half of this live stream is going to be getting out of Act 2. Like I said, there's quite a bit of stuff to do here. So here's where we are. Like I say, at the end of last week's live stream, we had finished off the fight against the Apostle of Merkel. So we're going to do a few things here. We're just going to pick up everything. Cloud Giant Fingers were always good for crafting. Okay, we're going to head up here with Shadowheart and have her search all of the Necromites. You can head down here and search this desk. Okay, and like I say, just the books and stuff that are down here, just a bunch of introductions to stuff that we already know, and that we learned from the cutscenes in the previous episode. So nothing that you absolutely have to read down here.
Careful, I might. Moving.
We'll do the last little bit of searching here, and then we're going to go search Kethric's body.
I wonder.
Can't give up now. Very well.
Okay, so we should get a cutscene here.
In death, the body is cooling, but energy radiates from the stone.
Remarkable. Truly. And now the picture comes together. The Absolute is neither god nor man. It is the Elder Brain you saw, held here by those three against its will. The crown it wears controls it, and these stones control the crown. It has been dominated. To master an Elder Brain, to subdue it. Our enemies are formidable. A temporary reprieve, but a welcome one. With a brain on its way to the city, its influence here is weakened. The crown's markings suggest it was forged in Netheril, an ancient empire whose mastery over magic rivaled that of the gods. It is a crown of domination. The stones were taken from its crest. They are nether stones, imbued with the ability to control the wearer of the crown. The crown's Netherese magic must be the true source of the parasite's abilities. This must be what elevates their potential. And it must be the reason nobody could heal you. If the crown can do this to the parasite, I dare not imagine what it is doing to the brain. One of them I know, Lord Enver Gortash, an arms dealer and a slaver. A worshipper of Bane, the god of tyranny. The other is a mystery to me, but the way she spoke, it is most likely she follows Baal, god of murder. Ketheric was a follower of Merkel, which means the Absolute is a front for the gods of death, and our enemies are the chosen of the dead three. Bane, Baal, and Merkel. The tyrant, the assassin, and the necromancer. They are known to pick from their most devout followers, a chosen, granting them incredible powers. Each one alone would be a formidable enemy. But working together and controlling an Elder Brain, I dare not imagine what they might achieve. We prepare for the fight of our lives, and the lives of everyone in Faerun. The army of the Absolute is marching on Baldur's Gate. Within the city, an Elder Brain, brimming with power, ready to turn everyone within its reach into Mindflayers. All it needs is an order the Death Gods chosen are on the cusp of giving. We must wrest control of the brain from the chosen before that happens. We must take their stones. Our chances of success are slim, but we must not fail. If we fail, everything ends. I will be your shield, but you must be the sword. And when the chance comes to strike, you must take it, for there may only be one chance.
Okay, so we've gotten some hints about what we're up against here. And now we can search Ketheric's body. So the supply pack we'll send to camp. You can read the note, basically a note from Isabel to him saying that she loves him. Then we have Ketheric's Warhammer. The 1d4 psychic damage is coming from the hammer itself. It's not from me. So it has a 1d4 damage rider that goes along with it. Other than that, nothing really special about it. Ketheric's shield, however, has arcane enchantment. So you gain a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. The advantage on dexterity saving throw checks just means that you're going to gain a bonus to all of those physical checks, not saving throws, and that's important, that go along with dexterity. Shield Bash is standard. You can see how it compares. We have that on the Shield of Scorch and Reprisal. So I'm actually going to send this to Shadowheart. And the last thing is Reaper's Embrace. This is all incoming damage is reduced by 2.
Yes.
And we're going to look at Minthara when we do this. Whereas the Dwarven Splint Mail, you take 1 less piercing damage. And then it has Reaper's Rigidity. So when activated, you can't be moved against your will by any spell or action, but have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. This can be very useful in situations where you're fighting on elevated ground, where you cannot be pushed and or pulled by something else. And that can be very useful in, like I say, a fight that we're going to have coming up. Disadvantage on stealth checks is the same, but then you also have Howl of the Dead. Once per short rest, you can let out a howl that's going to numb all creatures in a 3-meter radius for 3 turns. Now, numbing means that their movement speed is halved, and you then have advantage on all attack rolls against the affected entities. Okay? It's removed by either an ally helping them or when you land an attack against them. So it is a nice way to gain advantage if you don't have other ways to get advantage. We've seen how powerful darkness is, and that's where we're going to continue to focus. But this is another way to get that advantage if you don't have a way to do it. So we're going to equip that, send that off to camp. Shadowheart is going to equip
Where am I?
that.
Time to press ahead.
And he's probably sneaking. Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
Then we're going to head through the portal and head back.
I've been thinking on all that you learned below. If you've got your breath, we ought to discuss our next steps.
And now we're back in Moonrise Towers. And you can see that our party has changed. We only have 3 people in it, and that's because Minthara has been removed from our party and is sitting on Ketheric's throne here.
True, you were a member of the Absolute Cult, Drow?
Do you mean to judge me if I were Darthian?
No. I mean to learn from you.
Okay, so let's go talk to Minthara real quick.
I have something to ask.
I will never tire of sitting on dead men's thrones. My blood ran hot when we broke Ketheric's bones together. But we have greater challenges ahead of us. It is clear now that he was not working alone. During my time in the cult, I came to know one of his co-conspirators all too well. Baal's bloodletter, Orin. To think, I thought her to be speaking for the Absolute. I worshipped that woman. Jealous? You needn't be. When Orin is in my hands, her agony will nourish me. She is the Iblis who indoctrinated me with the Absolute's lies. When I first visited Moonrise, I stood before the Absolute in awe. It was more of an idea than an entity. Pure love. Total power. Orin was by my side. She told me that God had chosen me to be a true soul. Blessed and adored. Now I know that those memories are lies. There was no God. Orin held me down in a cocoon of flesh, while a Mindflayer forced a parasite into my brain. And she laughed at my fear. I will find her. I will murder her. And I will smile. It is as if you read my mind. Perhaps you did. In killing Ketheric, we fractured the cult's leadership. When we break the other Chosen and claim their Netherstones, we can take control. I expected you would be, but know this. What I propose is nigh on impossible, but if anyone can succeed, it is us. We have the prism, and we have the courage to slay gods. We may fail, but we must try. The power of the enslaved Elder Brain could reshape the world. We could reshape the world. And then we will need no gods. We will be their equal. We will be absolute. We have a purpose and a bond. By my oath, I will fight with you, while that purpose holds. There is yet one thing about you that troubles me, though. Something I need you to explain. You chose to incapacitate me, rather than killing me, when you eradicated my minions. Why? You described me well, but you deceived nonetheless. You chose to spare me. I am sure of it. Sparing an enemy's life is a great risk. Even though I owe my life to the part of you that showed me mercy, it concerns me. If Ketheric had ordered me to slay you to prove my worth, I would have. Or died trying. I should not lose myself in these thoughts of what might have been. I live, and I am grateful. I do have one more question, though, before we continue. Why come to Moonrise, where the cult's power is strongest? Why not walk away? Good. That is as it should be. Now, I am ready to leave this damned place whenever you give the word. The city awaits.
Yeah, Lord Henry, so do I. That's Emma Gregory, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the voice actor behind Minthara. She was also in the two Divinity Original Sin games for Larian. So as were several of the voice actors here in the game, but she's also been in some other things. She was, I believe, she was in Star Wars Battlefront, one of those games, one of the Star Wars games, I believe as well. But she's done quite a bit of voice acting in her career. So, yeah, but she really brings a depth to Minthara, and I'm really glad that they chose from the release to expand her character, allowing her to become a party member and then expanding her story arc as the patches have gone on. It's really, really refreshing to be able to see it. So let's talk to a couple of other people. We have Art over here.
When Duke Elton formed the Flaming Fist, he sought out people of courage and honor to fill its ranks. You saved Daniel, lifted the curse, and killed an immortal. It's safe to say.
Yeah, looks like got some more of that voice dialogue that's glitched out again. Just like we saw at the end of last week. Let's hope that the rest of the dialogue down here isn't going to be glitched out, because here is Isabel. And Isabel is a little glitchy.
Have I been this way before? You did it. I knew you would. Oh, I am. It's a momentous day. I suppose I need to catch my breath, or the momentum will outpace me. There's much I'd like to discuss with you, actually. Perhaps I could join you in your camp later?
Actually, Andy, I didn't have to. It's been reported. There just isn't a way to replicate it reliably, but it is an open ticket for Larian already. It's just they're trying to figure out how to replicate it. Because see, in that one you saw only the first portion of the dialogue was glitched, and the last line, or the first portion was fine, but the last line was glitched. In Arts, the entire section was muted. With Minthara there, none of it was muted. So it's a little odd. Now we'll talk to Jahira.
Our enemies spread like rub rot. Treat one patch, and two more bloom in its place. An elder brain, bound by lost Netherese magic, with servants of the dead three holding the chain. Reminds me of old times. Aren't you? It is good to savor the moment of victory. But pace yourself. Our fight is just beginning. When we met, I was licking my wounds. An old bear with her leg caught in the hunter's snare. Now I've slipped free of the trap and rediscovered my claws. It's time for me to hunt my prey. You have a nether stone, and you're on the scent of two more. These chosen have reason to fear you, and I would like to be at your side when you confront them. Of course. Falling foul of Ketherick convinced me that my grand adventures were behind me. That even if I survived, I should hang up my blades. But you convinced me otherwise. We ventured into darkness together. Now we've come out the other side. I'd say I'm feeling a little refreshed. When we reach Baldur's Gate, there will be even darker paths to tread. I will follow you wherever they lead. How does it compare to a shadow-cursed inn? With the Absolute's army gone, the Risen Road should be clear. We can follow it all the way to Baldur's Gate. There's a Harper's safe house in Worm's Crossing. Denthelan's Dancing Axe. We do well to check in with them before entering the city proper. Beyond that, our course is yours to set. Find me at your camp, huh? I can remember how to take orders, as well as give them.
Okay, so that's going to officially recruit Jaheira to be a full member of our party. Then Withers is last.
Thy hunger denied. Seluna's faithful yet shines. The balance shifts. Thou hast seen with thine own eyes and felt in thine urges. The dead three unite. There are depths to this alliance yet unplumbed. Consider, mortal. Do illithids possess souls? Correct. Yet, the three amass an illithid army void of apostolic souls that could imbue them with power. A flock without souls, yet to what end, O tempted one? This is the question thou must come to answer. Until such time, be availed of my services. Where matters of balance are concerned, I am eternally cold. Nothing thou dost not already know. Yes, Bane, Lord of Darkness, Baal, Lord of Murder, Merkel, Lord of Bones. Once judged, ascended, then vanquished, as one, and as three. The alliance is reforged, mortal. The plains thus quake, and the gods shudder.
Okay, I'm trying really hard not to go into spoilers here. For those of you who are watching this playthrough and have not seen a complete playthrough first, that whole segment there where he's talking about the Dead Three has much more meaning than is currently apparent with Withers. There's a reason why he knows so much about the Dead Three, and why he's helping us with his services against them. And that's going to become much more apparent as we go through this. And I forgot we have Steris and the...
I was racking my brains. How the hells do we get past the curse? And then a blinding light cuts through the darkness like a blade through butter. All thanks to you, I hear. Didn't think we'd make it without the old Hell Rider to lead us. But you did a damn fine job. I would. We didn't have any fight left in him.
The briefest hesitation as Ceres wars with old loyalties and wins.
I looked up to him. We all did. Deputy let us down when we needed him most. There are less mouths to feed, but we still need supplies for the road. We'll scavenge what we can. Hopefully, we'll see you again in the city.
And we have some other conversations over here that we can have.
This place is a gold mine. I'm gonna make a killing in the city.
Alfira's writing us a song. A stupid song won't bring Mole back. Tell her, won't you? This is Mole's. Where did you find it?
This whole thing was added in the patch where they gave a purpose behind Maul's eye patch. You could always find it, but there wasn't a use for it. Now there is, and this plays into that.
Of course she is. You hang on to that. I bet Mole will be angry at you for touching her stuff.
You're here. Good. That's good. Me? Oh, I'm fine. I'm just worried about the kids. Maul is still missing, and they haven't taken it too well. I've been trying to cheer them up. We're writing a song together. But I think they're just humoring me. Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we play together? Yes! I've missed this. If you can't keep up, don't take it to heart.
Nothing. Mole is fine.
Just a little musical interlude. But we don't want to stay here all day.
Why, yes. Once Alfira is done with this song, we will be looking for patrons. All coppers welcome, pal. So? It's just Mole's eye patch. She's lost loads of them. That doesn't mean anything. Did you want something, or are you just here to stir? Exactly. And we'll definitely feel her wrath if she thinks we ever doubted her.
Leave this stupid, creepy place.
Okay, and I think that's it. I don't think there's anybody else upstairs. Yeah, there's not. Okay, so we will head back downstairs. And we'll head out here.
Go home, Marcus, he says.
Because we do need to have a conversation with Barkus.
There you are. I was wondering where the devil you'd been. Who? Oh, right. Well, forget about that, McGungus. We have more important things to worry about. Like Wulbrin. Oh, forget about that. Wulbrin and the Iron Hand Gnomes are planning something dreadful in the city. They have rune powder, they have motive. We have to stop them. With the sword of justice in one hand and the shield of self-righteousness in the other, we most certainly will. To saving the city. and my fool of a friend.
Moonrise has been cleansed. Baldur's Gate is next.
It'll take time, but this tower's stone will heal.
And then we have Wolfrin.
Way is clear.
I owe you an apology. Barkus and I are another matter. I'm dealing with you right now. I saw you as a means to escape, nothing more. But when the sky lit up, when I followed it here, I knew you were behind it. I apologize for not seeing your true worth, and for being, quite frankly, rude in Last Light. I wasn't sure you would. I appreciate it. And that's precisely why I want you by my side in Baldur's Gate. The Iron Hand gnomes are going to save the city, and you can be part of it. The plan is what it's always been. To bring the work and innovations of the Iron Hand gnomes to every corner of the realm. Problem is, Baldur's Gate is sick. Once the pinnacle of greatness, it's eating itself alive to save itself from starving. Find me in the city. And once you see what it's become, you'll know that I, and I alone, can stop it.
Well, we're going to see much more of that when we get to the city, and yeah, it's interesting how they think they're going to save the city. And yes, Ustamura, it was actually it's been a very hotly debated topic on the forums about whether or not they should have made Alfira a full party member. Some of the conversations are awesome. But yeah, that's one of the things that people mention, is that there are a couple of druid characters.
We leave the heart of the Absolute alive. Thanks to you. You did well to defeat Ketheric. But Ketheric was only the first to fall. There are many more battles ahead, and they will not be so easily won. You will need allies. You have the makings of a leader. Your actions have already inspired those around you. Jaheira's wisdom will be an asset to you on the journey ahead. Her harpers, too. Halsin's strength and loyalty will bolster you in times of need. But if we are to succeed, we will need others. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Baldur's Gate may not know it yet, but its fate is bound to ours. Seek on its streets those whose purpose aligns with our own, and invite them to our cause. Together, we will put an end to the Absolute, the Chosen, all.
Okay. And you're going to get that cutscene as soon as you leave the front doors of Moonrise, or as soon as you attempt to fast travel out of here. Either way. But yeah, and there were conversations about whether the Halsin story arc could have been fulfilled by Jaheira the entire time, and Halsin was just an ancillary character that they could have replaced with a bard player character in the game. So yeah, there's a lot of good conversation about it. So now we're going to quickly take a look at our journal. So Gortash's and Orin's Netherstones are now available as quests. Gather Our Allies has been expanded upon. And as we continue to recruit more here, we're going to increase this list. The Urge has now opened up because of Lord Henry revealing to me that there was a pod to interact with. This has opened up Open Your Scars as a quest. And you realize that you were put down there, worked on by Cressa Bone Daughter down there, and then infected with the tadpole down there. So we saw Duke Ravengard get infected with a tadpole, and we have to find Mole, who's again, we need to make our way into Baldur's Gate to get there. Shadowheart is now fully in Shar's embrace, and Shar wants her to clear out the Church of Shar. And we're going to do that again in Baldur's Gate. The Grand Duke is again part of Grand Duke Ravengard. The High Harper is now Jaheira's part of our party, and we're going to have more quests that go along with her. For Gale, Gale was not close enough to detonate the orb. Now, if you take Gale into that cutscene at the bottom where you fight Ketheric and Merkel, there's a separate cutscene where you have the opportunity for Gale to ignite the Netherese orb and blow up the Absolute. Now that results in a game over, but it is certainly one way to go about doing it. And then the entire Infiltrate Moonrise quest, defeat Ketheric Thorm, and find a cure quests are all completed now, and we did find Zevlor as well. So most of the things now are directing us into the city of Baldur's Gate. We have Lift the Shadow Curse here, which we are going to get a conclusion to here in a little bit. And speaking of that, let's travel to the Last Light Inn. So the Last Light Inn here, as we talked about previously, is still here. However, it has changed a little bit. First, we're going to drop our shapeshift and talk to Tally.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
Now, normally Tally would be in the lobby of Moonrise Towers, and she would have been there because the Harpers would have been helping you by helping you clear out the first floor of Moonrise. The way that we interacted with the Night Song, that didn't happen, and you don't get the Harpers' help, so they are not transported into Moonrise like they normally would. You didn't meet Jaheira up at the top, up on the roof of Moonrise before you entered the Mindflayer colony. You meet her much later after you're done with that fight. So things are a little bit different here because of the way we did it, but hey, they're all still alive, and that's what matters. So here with her, we're going to quickly sell off the stuff that we picked up. Nope. Okay, so we'll just quickly drag these things over here. Okay, we're going to send the Nodaloid tanks off to camp. Okay, and what do we have here? Aberration Slaying, not too worried about that. Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, I'll definitely take. Nothing else up here that I want. I'll take the Arrow of Many Targets. Okay.
Take care now.
Now we're going to go to camp, and remember, we have a couple of trash bags in camp, I believe. And one of the ways that things have changed is you can see that Damon is no longer here. The Strange Ox is no longer here. Some things have already been teleported into Act 3 and away from Last Light. So in here, everything is pretty much the same. You still have the flaming fists that are here. You still have some of the tieflings, and Mole is here.
Nice strategy back there. If we put our heads together, I bet you and me could make a tidy stack of coin in Baldur's Gate. But Raphael's offered me a partnership already, and it seems like a sweeter deal than throwing my lot in with you.
Sinshi, welcome. No, I plan on doing everything in Act 3. Even the nasty fight against Raphael. I plan on doing everything there as much as I possibly can, yes.
Do as I say, not as I do, right? Got a lot of that from Zev, too, and he was a walking pile of imp shite at the end of the day. Look, you saved us. Not knocking that. But after you left, Zevlor lost his nerve. Gave up the fight. I won't. Now there's no grove, no coin, no one taking us to the city. I'm not letting my crew get eaten by shadows. Maybe I'll make a deal, maybe I won't. But it'll be my choice, not the devil's, and not yours.
Okay, now Mole's not supposed to be there.
Wonder if I could con some gold off that cleric.
And that's why you get kind of this weird blackout screen afterward. Because Mole is not supposed to be there. Mole was... well, I guess that's interesting. The game thinks that Mole is already gone. Because we were supposed to see the cutscene with the winged horrors coming in and fighting against trying to kidnap Isabel, and during that cutscene they kidnapped Mole as well. We prevented that cutscene from playing, but the game thinks that it happened. So Mole was not kidnapped. And then with the whole death of Last Light Inn, which the game again thinks we have done, even though we haven't, things are a little bit glitchy when it comes to some of the conversation flags. It's not expected to have some of these flags active and others not active like they are in our playthrough here. So the next thing that we're going to do is head to camp. I'm not going to take a rest yet or anything. I'm just heading to camp. And Karlak wants to talk to us.
You saw Gortash, didn't you? What the fuck was he doing down there? Is all of this because of him? The tadpole, the absolute. How? I'd never have protected a Bay Knight even a decade ago. I looked after that fucker with my life. I trusted him. He gave me away to Zariel without a second thought. And now he's looking to ruin the entire Sword Coast. He has to die. And I'm gonna be the one who kills him. He can't get away with what he's done. To me. To us. He won't get away with it.
So Karlak is obviously upset about Gortash, and there will be a conclusion to that. So let's go have some conversations here real quick.
The curse is broken and the shadows are lifting. In time, these lands will heal.
Especially Isabel.
You did it. You killed him. Catherick Thorm. My father. There is. But perhaps it's time you knew the entire truth. As you know, Ketheric Thorm was my father. He raised me to serve Selûne as my mother, rest her soul, had wished. He was everything to me, all my life. When an emissary of Selûne came to our little town, we were elated. Dame Aelin, daughter of the Moon Maiden herself. Tell me, do you believe in love at first sight? That's exactly it. And I tell you, I took one look at her and I just knew. She was it. Lucky for me, she felt the same way. But my father was skeptical. Aelin is immortal, after all. I understand it's strange. There's an imbalance between us, certainly. But I suppose loving Aelin felt the same as loving myself. It was natural. Then... And this is where I still need answers. I died. I'm not sure how, why, but all was black. Next I knew, I was being jolted awake. I smelled musty air, I saw shadows. And then my father's face. So changed. So hideously warped. I didn't know that then, but I could see the change in him. He told me we'd be together now. Said that Aelin was dead. I couldn't speak. Could only run. I found last light within the shadows. Made a shelter there. Prayed my father wouldn't find me. By the time Jaheira came, I'd pieced together just enough to know I'd been dead 100 years. That my father was the source of the horrors plaguing this land. My home. I couldn't tell her who I was. I had to protect them. And myself. No matter what. It's all out in the open now. And with my father dead, I have nothing to fear. Only his wicked legacy to undo. Perhaps there's something I can do to help the fight against the Dead Three. The moon is rather good at illuminating darkness, after all.
Okay, so now Isabel has finally opened up and told us exactly who she is. We've known who this is since we explored the catacombs inside the mausoleum. But now we learn exactly who Isabel is.
Lady Shah's power will soon fade from these lands. But it is a price that had to be paid, so that the traitor Ketheric Thorm could face justice at last.
Thaniel rests well. He's healing very rapidly, now that Oliver has returned to him. I can't say for certain, but we'll see it come to pass long before this place recedes behind us. Don't worry. All is at hand. We can depart whenever you're ready. No more than my right hand can absorb my left. Oliver is helping Thaniel to recover. They both lie dormant, like trees awaiting spring. Once the curse is lifted, they can stand as one or as a pair. Whatever they wish. I hope they will remain as a pair. It will be good for them both to have a friend, once I'm gone. Still, I would like to return here someday. See Thaniel and Oliver again. In my meditations, or perhaps in person, if the Oak Father wills it. I hope he does.
Hey, Depot Guy, welcome. Thanks for being here.
I knew I could put my faith in you. If only we had met sooner. I have. But perhaps there is more that I want. Anyway, once the curse is lifted, nature can take its course without me. I belong at your side.
And here you have an opportunity to start a romance with Halsin.
And I'm glad to be had. Glad to be with you, I mean.
Okay, so let's go talk to Astarian. And yeah, the honor mode run's going well so far. It's playing out almost exactly how I expected, except for one little mishap way back in Act 1.
I never saw myself as a banisher of shadows before. I was always more of a lurker in, historically.
And here's Jaheira. And just for your information, we would be having all of these conversations here in a little bit if we're not having them now. I'm just kind of getting them out of the way at this point. We're going to have them one way or another.
I would not linger in this land over long, but whatever your business, I will aid you if I can.
Here's Arabella.
If Bowman says I'll be alright, I'll be alright. I just wish it was different. I wish Mum and Pops was here. I don't feel so strong. Or anything, really. Just tired.
And we're going to see more of Arabella in Act 3.
Done rather a good thing here. A welcome change to give this land a sliver of hope amongst so much despair.
Okay, and now Will. And obviously there's a bit to discuss with Will here.
Gods be damned. With that parasite in his brain, Father could wreak untold havoc in the Absolute's name. Should Baldur's Gate fall to the Absolute, every one of the coast cities will be ripe for the plucking. We're not just fighting for our cure. We're fighting for my father. We're fighting for the Gate. We're fighting for all of Faerun. Worm's Rock Fortress. All travelers to Baldur's Gate flow through it. It serves as headquarters for the Flaming Fist and their commander, my father. The Absolute's army's on the march. Gods forbid a tadpole Grand Duke throw open the gates for them. Orin, I'd never heard tell of, but Gortash I know. Or know of, more precisely. A self-styled strategic advisor to Baldur's Gate's peers. A bit player with dreams of a leading role, the way Father told it. He had no use for Gortash, and even less for his advice. I don't remember much beyond that. But where these chosen are concerned, I have a suspicion we're about to know more than we'd like. Yes, but first a question. If your home were under siege, what would you sacrifice to save it? As would I. And more. I was 17. Father, older Ravengard, had just been named a Grand Duke and was called away to Elturel to help settle a dispute. That's when the Cult of the Dragon made its move.
The Cult of the Dragon, a fractured religion. Some believers hold that undead dragons will inherit the world. Others worship the dragon goddess Tiamat and intend to summon her to Faerun.
To conjure the Dragon Queen and lay waste to Baldur's Gate. But 10 days after Father left, I heard a whisper as I slept. Duskhawk Hill. The Queen of Chaos awakens. Go alone. I grabbed a rapier and set out. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, yet not a single star was shining. There they were, gathered at the foot of the hill.
Your head tingles. Will wants to show you what happened. In the looming shadow of the mount, 5 groups of 5 figures each encircle a lofty totem. Atop each totem, a dragon's head is carved. and a massive orb held in its mouth. The cultists chant, first softly, then crying to the starless sky. There is a crack of thunder, a gust of wind, and a dragon's white head appears in the storm. The first of Tiamat's 5 heads. As the maelstrom howls, Mizura's lips press to your ear. She will destroy Baldur's Gate. Grant me your soul, and I will give you the power to save it, she whispers.
She read the terms while 2 devils stood witness, and I said yes. 1 soul for 1 city. She didn't. She came on order of her mistress, Zariel. Tiamat made a play for power. Zariel had other plans. That was the most Mizura's ever said. All that mattered was that she got her prize. Another pet added to her warlock menagerie. I don't know that it was brave. I just know that it was right. The moment I agreed, I burned with the fires of Avernus and oozed the rot of Dis. The cultists choked on our poisons and burned from our flames. And when we were done, all that remained were 5 greyed orbs atop a pile of ash. My soul was bound, and my lips were sealed. It is the one scar I ever bore of it. Mizura replaced it with a sending stone. She uses it to track my location and speak from a distance. I could flee to the spine of the world, or the depths of the lower dark, and still never shake her. He returned to an unsuspecting city and a wayward son with a smirking devil at his side. I tried to tell him the truth, but my mouth couldn't form the words. I'd led him to the battlefield, but Mizura had swept it clean. I showed him my stone eye, but he only turned away. After, he said only one word: go. So I did. I understand. No, never. He did the only thing he could. In his eyes, I invited a devil into our midst. I was a fool at best, a traitor at worst, and Grand Duke Ravengard suffers neither. More than you know. The better question is, did he ever miss me? If he did, he missed the Will Ravengard he once knew, not the hell-touched warlock he returned to.
Okay, so we learned a lot about Will there and his interactions with his father. That's going to play out more in Act 3 as well.
You did it. Ketheric Thorm is no more. The Shadow's grip is broken. Soon, the land shall heal. Not as glad as I am. Nature moves at its own pace, and bestows its bounty when it sees fit. Give it time. A reward shall come to you when you need it most.
Okay, and then last, Minthara wants to talk.
As you approach Minthara, you feel her mind reaching out to yours, tentative and curious. Then it retreats, soft as a whisper.
Sorry. Old habits. I did not ask permission. When we first met, before Moonrise, I intruded on your thoughts without hesitation and took what I needed from your memories. I would not do that again, unless I had reason to think you were hiding something from me. And I do not. I did not think we would ever share anything more than an uneasy alliance, born of our mutual enmity for the Absolute. I was wrong. A deeper bond has grown between us. I trust you. But I would like to touch your thoughts again, now that my mind is my own. May I? Of course. I do not hide anything from you. Until my time in the cult of the Absolute, I had spent little time on the surface, except to raid and pillage. I did not expect to find any outside the Underdark who saw the world as I do, and wanted from the world what I want. I did not expect you. I have been told that I am special since my mother first held me in her arms. The burden of expectation. Before the Absolute, I lived a life of certainties. I knew that I was destined for greatness because I was born to it. I also knew that my inherited privilege came with a cost. That the bonds of fellowship and family could be broken by envy and ambition. I could not enjoy the taste of food for fear of poisoning, and I could not enjoy the company of lovers and friends because I feared they hid knives behind their smiles. In spite of the danger, I was happy. I knew myself, and I understood the world around me. Now, nothing is certain. Without Lolth, without the Absolute, without my home, I do not know myself. But you do, I think. Show me myself through your eyes. Let me see what I am to you.
She joins her thoughts with yours, and you are as one. You share in her strength of mind and formidable will, but also the doubts that eat at her conviction. Those doubts cluster in swarms, and the thickest is around her sense of self. She pushes past, revealing the image of her you hold in your mind. What does she see?
Okay, and here's your opportunity to start a romance with Minthara. And that's actually what we're going to do. Shadowheart is going to have a conversation with us about that. But at the end of the day, Shadowheart now has another alliance that is going to... She has to give all of herself to. We've also seen a Shadowheart romance play out in the Paladin livestream. With her as Shar's chosen. So we're going to go a different way here.
The cold shell of Minthara's mind melts away, and you are drawn into the heart of her. Warm, passionate, and dangerous.
I have never lacked confidence, but this conflict seems so much bigger than the two of us. It frightens me. I do not know if we will survive it, but whatever life remains to us, I would gladly spend it fighting at your side and lying with you at night.
Her mind touches yours, feather light and hesitant. A stark contrast to the confidence with which her thoughts intruded on yours in the past.
Tonight, there will be no voices, no orders, no gods. I belong only to you.
Okay, and there's our conversation with Minthara. Like I say, we're now going to get a conversation with Shadowheart.
Shah's blessings upon you.
Oh, we're not. Maybe we'll get it after our next long rest. Okay, so there is something else that we're going to do here real quick. Like I said, we're going to send off the 3 Nautiloid tanks to camp. we're going to have Minthara shapeshift again, because when she left our party, she lost her shapeshift, and that means the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane is not going to be doing anything for her, so we need to shapeshift her back. And then re-equip the sword afterward. It's still your packed weapon. It didn't leave your inventory or anything like that, so you don't have to rebind it. But now this gives us the additional 1d6, as well as the bonuses for the Githyanki Psionic Advantage. And you want to make sure that those are in place before you go much further through this. So we are done in camp. There is something else we will be coming back to camp to get, but we definitely do not want to get it before we have this next encounter. I know things have been fairly boring up until now, but we have a fairly monumental thing here going from Act 2 to Act 3. So we're about to get into a couple of big fights here, and you do not want to have the item in your inventory while you're doing it. Lord Henry kind of mentioned this last week in kind of a preview of what we're going to be doing with it, but for right now, we're going to get up against enemies who use psychic damage, and we do not want to be vulnerable to it while we're in it. So let's head to the road to Baldur's Gate here.
Grace has been lifted from these lands. A necessary sacrifice to stop that traitor Thorm.
They should all look like an army marched through here.
And I'm going to drop a save here before we head into Act 3. Okay, this is a point of no return. The game's going to let you know that this is a point of no return.
The curse has been lifted, the lands cleansed of the shadows. Kethric's reign of living death is over. Your courage has been tested, and in this at least, you have triumphed.
And Depot Guy, while the cutscene was going on and you were explaining those things, it's an interesting list, but trust me, I've messed up much worse.
Sergeant, if you are here, I presume Wern's Rock is secure, and preparations for my inauguration are complete.
No, Lord Gortash. We were interrupted. Another quake in the lower city. More severe this time.
So you came cowering to my chambers? I'm flattered, Sergeant. But even I cannot command natural phenomena to cease.
Forgive me, my lord, but there is panic in the streets. The people are afraid.
Perhaps the people would be calm if you kept your nerve. I expect better from the Flaming Fist than to run scared from a slight tremor in the earth. Get back to your duties.
Duties, duties, duties. Patrolling and saluting and following and bowing and scraping. Yes, sir. No, sir. Rip and cut your throat, sir. Your plan is falling apart, lordling. Give me a reason not to cut you to ribbons.
Control yourself, Orin. We need to focus on reuniting the stones or the brain will break free. These quakes are just the start. Neither of us expected the Prism Bearers to kill Ketheric. They'll be traveling to the city. Let's make sure we give them a Baldurian welcome.
My prodigal bloodkin is among them.
They live.
Barely. I made mince of their ugly mind matter. And if they dare return, I will strip out their offal.
Some more hints there about the Dark Urge.
Beyond the campsite, the city waits in uneasy silence, one sleep away.
I wish I could pause to explain everything you're seeing there. It's really cool to see it all, though. Okay, and now you get a mandatory long rest. Okay, so this is why you don't take a long rest before you leave, is because you are immediately dropped into a long rest here. Okay, now some of the buffs that you used to have are gone. Some of them are not. There are some things that you also want to prepare for before you go to bed here. Okay, but we shouldn't have
You wish to consult me?
any new conversations. Actually, I guess these two with Minthara we didn't complete.
I take no pleasure in his passing. Whatever faults he may have had, Ketheric was a great leader. Of course. He ruled Moonrise for centuries. That in itself deserves respect. I believe he was an honorable man, but the gods used him as their plaything. First, Shah and her sister, then the three behind the Absolute. I sympathize. It is a sharp mind that feels sympathy for one who suffers unnecessarily, not a soft heart. I saw strength in Ketheric that had been diluted by pain, but I will never forgive him for handing me to Orin. For that, I hope Merkel hollows out his bones and lets them be dust. A true soul came to my city preaching a message of togetherness, accompanied by two novices. Menzoberranzan is not fertile ground for such messages. I killed them and hanged their bodies in my garden. I thought so too. This world is full of fools, after all. But in this instance, I was mistaken. Our visitors were not fools. They were bait. Even as the flesh sagged and sloughed away from their eyeless skulls, their audacity infuriated me. I had to know where they came from. And whoever sent them was counting on my curiosity overcoming my caution.
You know, Lord Henry, it's starting to get a little bit eerie. To me. This is probably the 5th or 6th time during this playthrough that you've anticipated my plans, actions already. Yes, we are going to see it in this fight, and there are some very specific reasons why we're going to see it as well. But yes, we are going to see it.
Yes. All it took was a simple act of necromancy, and the corpses told me where I needed to strike. Moonrise Towers. No. I was prepared for combat, but I intended to strike subtly. As it turned out, to my shame, I was defeated without even drawing my weapon. I came to Moonrise with a retinue of warriors and assassins, the best House Bainray had to offer. I expected a battle, but found a fully laden feast table and a welcome befitting a house matron. Ketherick expected us, expected me, and I fell for his flattery. I recognize my flaws. Pride is certainly among them. Ketherick proposed an alliance between Moonrise and Menzoberranzan. I admit I was captivated by him. He invited me to the head of his table as his guest of honor. I was wary, of course. If I had been in his position, the food would have been poisoned. It was not the food I should have been wary of. It was the pale woman at the foot of the table. Orin the Red. We had barely begun to eat when she spoke for the first time. I only caught one word, my name. Then, quick as lightning, she climbed onto the table, a dagger in each hand, and skipped toward me, slicing the throats out of my men as she passed them. If it had been an option, I would have. Ketherick held me still, his hand on my shoulder, the grip tight enough to crack the bone. When Orin stood before me, she touched the dagger to my eye, drawing out a tear of blood. I want this one, she said.
The scar is right
Ketherick
there.
nodded his permission, and I was taken below. You've seen the horrors of the colony. Orin kept me there for days. She forced me to watch as my men were processed. Some for food, others as thralls. And then she placed the tadpole in my eye herself.
It's those little tiny details that never cease to amaze me when I see them for the first time.
I was. I deserved what happened to me. For my passivity. For my weakness. For my pride. You know the rest as well as I do. There were massacres before the Grove. Religious communities mostly. Those who refused to convert. Then there was you. And now there is freedom. Soon there will be vengeance.
I am yours. Come to me. I could lose myself in you.
Okay, so like I say, there shouldn't be any more conversations, I don't think. We'll check with Shadowheart real quick.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, see, we've... Oh, I guess Karlach, because of her Gortash thing, there's another one.
I was a wild kid, brawling my way through the city. One of my mates got wind of a bit of work guarding some indoorsy type with lots of enemies. Seemed like easy money, so I went in for it. He took one look at me and said I was perfect. I like that. Not like that, you know. Just... it felt like a good fit. I kept him safe and He paid me well. Well enough to move into a better neighborhood and put something away for the future. My future. I respected him, trusted him. And he returned that trust, that respect. His life was in my hands, and I took that seriously. The whole thing with Zariel happened so fast. I had no idea what had gone down until it was over. One minute I was in Baldur's Gate, a happy, healthy, not quite kid. The next, I was burning up in Avernus with an engine for a heart. Zariel laughed. Said she paid him well for my services. She'd wanted to test her new machine, and he said I'd be able to handle it. He was right. Sometimes I wish he weren't. Evil, evil bastard.
So, geez, there are more conversations. I didn't think there were. So, again, I apologize, but like I say, this first half of the stream was going to be a lot of housekeeping. I kind of warned everybody about it.
The gate is closed, as is Cazador. And we are no closer to knowing why that bastard is so obsessed with getting me back.
I forgot about these, yes, and I know what the Gale conversation is as well.
I think we should track down my fellow spawn. I'm not exactly looking forward to a reunion, but perhaps they'll know something. If we can find them, we can force them to tell us what he's been doing since I was gone. And honestly, I imagine they'll be coming for me in the night if I don't. Unless Cazador's changed their orders, they'll be in the dens of this town, seeking prey. We should get to them first. And then we can make their pretty tongues talk.
I was supposed to sacrifice myself to stop the Absolute. Yeah, I don't think I could have gone through with it, in truth. And I'm glad that I didn't, given what has come to light. The Elder Brain. But, more importantly, the crown that it wore. Even without seeing it for myself, I could sense it. Netherese magic. So pure, so complete. I doubted what I was feeling at first. Most Netherese artifacts contain only the faintest amount of their former power, the ghost of an echo of a memory. That crown was different. I can't fathom how such a wonder survived. Surely everything of its ilk was destroyed along with Netheril itself, but no matter. It exists. I must learn more of it. That crown sits on a gargantuan elder brain bent on destroying us and everything we hold dear. Understanding its true nature might unlock the means of our victory. We need to learn more about what we saw. An artifact as powerful as that crown must have been documented somewhere. As luck would have it, we'll soon find ourselves near one of the finest book collections this side of Candlekeep, Sorcerer's Sundries. I need to go there and learn all I can. Ha! Sorcerer's Sundries is no mere trading post. It's been serving the arcane community for centuries. Their collection of rare tomes is unparalleled. Netherese texts are hardly commonplace, but I'm certain they'll have one or two stashed away. You'll have to forgive my eagerness, but if my suspicions prove to hold water, this could be the answer to all our problems.
Okay, so what we've done is advanced a couple of the companion quest lines. We'll just go through here real quick and just make sure there's nothing else.
May the darkness protect you.
Well met.
I'm listening.
Okay, so nothing else. So here we're going to immediately be dropped into something, and we won't have an opportunity to kind of buff things up or get our characters really ready for it for a little bit. So be prepared that you have your party set up with who you want to have in it before you go into the long rest here.
The events of the last days weigh heavily upon you. Sleep's rest is slow to come to one whose mind is so full. The Absolute is not a god, but an elder brain controlled by the chosen of the Dead Three. They mean to use it to take control of the Sword Coast. All who carry the tadpole are governed by the brain, and by extension the chosen. It will take but one order to transform them into an army of Mindflayers. This would have been your fate too, were it not for the Astral Prism, and the mysterious visitor inside of it. With her help, you have uncovered the cult for what it really is. A plan of conquest orchestrated by the gods of death themselves. Together, you have the power to thwart the Dead Three. If you follow this path to its end, the Elder Brain will not answer to the Chosen. It will answer to you. And what then? You are prone to impulses as uncontrollable as the gods themselves. Will you even have a say in what you do? Will you liberate the true souls from their parasites and their religious delusions? Or will you use the power you gain for your own purposes? Even as you utter the words to yourself, you know it is but an intention. And these dark desires of yours have little regard for your intentions. You will not have long to wait. All you need to do now is sleep. But sleep is not for you.
Your way to the portal. I need your help.
And yes, Rudy, I'd forgotten that I can't. Both of those cutscenes treat it as... The first one is a weird type of long rest. But that cutscene that we just had is a full long rest. You can see all of my buffs are gone, and that would have included the shapeshift that would have happened with Minthara. So I wouldn't have been able to do it either way. So what we now have is a situation where we have a portal that's opened up. We have 3 turns to get to the portal, and we have some Githyanki monks who are blocking our way. Now, we really do not want to mess with them at all. We just want to skip this fight and get to the portal as fast as we can. And I want to look at a couple of things. Okay. To see what options that we have. For Astarian, I can, for now, Send his backpack to Minthara. That does not take an action. Okay. And now with Astarian, I can try and make my way to the portal. Okay, now Astarian doesn't have... Actually, I might not want to make it with Astarian. I might just want to go myself. I think I will just go myself instead. So, for myself, I'm going to use my bonus action to activate the fly ability on my armor. Going to use my action to dash. And now I can fly. And don't want to be able to get within range of either of the monks. Because I do not want to provoke an attack of opportunity from either of them. And now we're going to enter the portal. Why am I not able to... And okay, it was too close.
That thing's not going to hold together much longer.
And now here we can enter into this fight. Okay, we want to get this fight started as quickly as we can. Okay, just because the intellect devourers here give the Githyanki another target, basically, to focus on. I want to make sure everybody's in hiding up here before you do anything from up here. Now, I don't want to get really very near this fight, but I don't think I'm gonna have a choice. Yeah, because that will not get both of them. Okay, I can get both of them here. Okay. And that should remove the detection cones down here in this area. So now I can get everybody else into it. Again, if I come out of stealth up here, I'm going to enter into the fight. So this is what I'm saying. I can't get my buffs done up here yet, like I would want to. Because if I do, I'm going to be entered into combat up here. So, and this is why what Lord Henry is saying, my buff opportunities up here are really limited. Once I finish this fight here, then I'm going to have an opportunity to activate my buffs before I jump to here. once you jump to here, that's going to start this fight down here. And again, you don't want to wait around. You want to join that fight as fast as you can. But until you jump here, you can sit here all day long and buff up, which is what I'm going to do. So for now, I'm not going to enter into any of this combat yet. And I'm not going to get any of my buffs done. I should be able to do this fight without the need for them. So the Ember Gish is a fire-based monk. They can cast Fireball, and they love casting Fireball. The High Gish is just an upper-level monk that doesn't have near... They try and do more debilitating spell effects, but they don't do a lot of AoE stuff. So I'm going to actually focus on the Ember Gish here for this.
Another step forward.
Okay, and I'm going to get Hex out. Okay, and I'm going to do a defensive flourish first. Okay. Now I'm going to bring Astarian in here. And again, I'm not buffing anything up yet. And I'm going to finish the Ember Gish off. See if I can clear a space for Astarian to get in here later. So an 88% with Great Weapon Master all in. I'll take it. Okay, and I'm not going to Divine Smite. Going to Soul Brand. And still a 70% chance. And not going to Divine Smite again. But I still have the remainder of Astarian's turn. Here. Alright. And now we're going to group everybody up and we'll get our buffs out of the way. Okay, so let's get Long Strider out.
Hurry! I can't hold them back alone.
Okay, Shadowheart is going to get the Drakethroat Glaive. Oh, yeah, right. That one doesn't work. I forgot. This is that weird long rest that we've talked about before. And then Minthara.
I need you now.
Going to shapeshift. Unequip the sword and re-equip it. Reapply. Astarian is going to take his Elixir of Hill Giant Strength.
Is that blood?
And now we should be good.
Should mind my step.
Okay, now what you want to do here is very much the same thing. We're going to jump over here. That's going to start that fight. We're going to leave our group.
he is the source of our protection against the Absolute. I must subdue him, or everything we've worked towards is lost. Don't let my form deceive you. I am the one that's been protecting you. I am the one that came to you in your dreams. Help me.
And I actually did something wrong there. I forgot to go into group hide before I broke the group and jumped out. So I think the rest of my party's probably going to be in combat and still up top up there. So it's probably going to take them a bit to get into the fight. And Shigrath, that's an interesting point. However, we haven't seen them try and release Orpheus yet. The crystals that are binding him in are what you need to break with the Orphic Hammer. They broke through the psychic shield that the Emperor had set up, but they haven't actually gotten to Orpheus to try and release him. I think once they get to that point, they would realize that they can't break the crystals. They can't break the bond. Maybe they can, though. Maybe there's some other portion of lore that would let them do it.
The Honor God. Eliminate them. My forces are weakened by their assault. But with your help, we can turn this around. Destroy the God. I will subdue their master. Together, we can turn the tide.
Okay. So it looks like Shadowheart remained out because she was still in hiding. See, and that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to put everybody in hiding before I jumped over here. If you're in hiding, you're not brought into combat here. So Shadowheart is able to freely move around however she wants. But, okay. Normally she is. That's kind of weird. There's no detection cone down here. Something must have gotten a little messed up there. But that just means things are going to take a little bit longer to develop as far as getting all of them into the fight. Now, that means we're going to have to do probably a little bit more to try and protect the Emperor here. The first couple of rounds are going to be soaked up, or the first round is going to be soaked up by the Intellect Devourers. We have the Prelate here to deal with. High hit points that we need to worry about. The other three, we have an Ember Gish. We have a Zephyr Gish, which is an air-based Githyanki monk. And then we have another High Gish, just another high-level monk. So the Ember Gish will cast Fireball or Scorching Ray. The Zephyr will cast a lot of pulling you toward them and pushing you away from them air spells, as well as a spell that can stun you, is what the Zephyr Gish does. So between the two, you definitely want to focus on the Prelate, and you want to focus on the Zephyr Gish up here. And this fight's going to be rather interesting because I think Minthara is like 2 jumps away. So she didn't even get to make the first jump before she got brought into combat. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least here. But the first thing that I want to try and do is see how far I can get Shadowheart up here. Okay, because I definitely want to cast Darkness here. And that's going to blind the Prelate.
No choice but to keep going.
Okay, so again, blinded here. She has some extra additional modifiers that go along with it. Experienced in deadly, meaning that she can add her wisdom modifier to her unarmed strikes. That's what we're going to get with Astarion here when he levels up again. She also has key empowered strikes, which means she can set up key resonance and then detonate it. Again, something that we will be getting with Astarion a little bit later on. But the first thing that we want to do here is go into our Slayer form. Actually, we don't. Yeah, we do. It's a bonus action. Okay. And here we open up the Slayer actions. Okay. The Relentless Lunge is a bonus action. Okay, where it's kind of like the Deadly Leap from the Bullet, where you leap into them, possibly knocking people prone. That bonus action then sets up some synergies with some of your actions. Okay, so once they are prone, you can use Slay. If the target is prone, the attack will be a critical hit. If the target is bleeding and prone, the attack will be a critical hit and the target will possibly become stricken with flesh rot. Now you can get them bleeding by using Sumptuous Bloodbath to start. Okay, so you leap in with Relentless Lunge, you use your action Sumptuous Bloodbath to start them bleeding, and then you can use the Slay action to guarantee a crit and give them stricken with flesh rot, which is they have disadvantage on all charisma checks, but vulnerability to all damage types. Okay, which is really, really nice. We also have another combo here, Let the Slaughter Begin. You can, everyone within 12 meters of you is going to be marked. Those marked targets are dazed, and when they die, you gain a +1 bonus to your armor class. Okay, but then dazed targets, you can multi-attack and land critical hits. Okay, and no worries, Shagarath, do what you need to do. Thank you for being here, I appreciate it. Okay, but it also synergizes with bleeding. So if the target's bleeding, you deal an additional 7 slashing damage per hit. Okay, so multi-attack can do a lot of damage here. And this is what we're going to kind of count on through this. Okay, so we're going to start off with Sumptuous Bloodbath here. It's got a 35% chance to hit. The multi-attack is 98, so I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait until I can get Astarion down here to start proning targets. So okay. Critical hit and frightened him.
Let's finish this.
Okay, so here's Astarion. And we are definitely going to dash with Astarion. Okay, we're going to jump him down here, and now let's get into this fight with all his super movement all the way across the map. Okay. This should be a fireball. Okay, no, we just cast Scorching Rays on one target. There's the pushing attack. Okay, and now Minthara is a long way away from anything. So... either way, this is going to use her bonus action. I could Misty Step out to there. So either way, it's not going to matter. Because that's going to take her bonus action. She'll be able to move up to here. With Action Surge, she can't jump, because jump is a bonus action. So she is stuck up here for this turn. Oh, he landed the domination. That does not happen very often. Okay. So now we should probably be able to end here. He's dominated. And the turn order was kind of unfortunate. Let's try and get rid of Prelate Lyric here. Because we want to get Astarion into the fight here. Oh, and I didn't need a miss at 88%. Oh, and I didn't need to land only a 20. Okay. Let's bring Shadowheart up. Okay, let's recast Darkness here. Then let's move the Slayer form in.
I'm ready.
We're going to jump Astarion up here. See if we can push the Embergish. Outstanding. Okay, and he's not blinded. That's unfortunate. Shadowheart cast it a little bit too far back. Let's correct that, because I do not want the Embergish making that attack. Oh, she can't. She doesn't have her bonus action either. That's going to be unfortunate. But high hit points here. So should be able to withstand all of the attacks. So the problem's going to be this. I don't know if she can reach me from there. And let's put his backpack back on him so he has access to his arrows. And we'll use an arrow of roaring thunder. See if we can get this to land. Oh, of course it would be a critical miss. Oh, yeah, can't use that on my second attack. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, I think he's probably going to take some damage. What I'm hoping does not happen is she pushes him, because if she pushes him, he's dead. He's going to have advantage on the dexterity saving throw. Okay, well, I'll take the opportunity attack. There's the fireball. Here it is. Okay. That's probably the best of all outcomes. I guess.
Understood.
Okay, so this is not going to be easy to land again if I try it. But I'm going to have to try and land one of them. Okay, so everybody saved. Okay, did land the big crit for Slay, though. We're going to reposition the darkness here. So that he's blinded. Get Shadowheart back into the darkness farther. Okay, I definitely want to see if I can land Charm. Okay, so he's not going to be able to attack me again. So he's just going to move around. There it goes, Astarion. He's dead. Okay. So that's what she can do.
Right away.
70% chance here.
By my oath.
Ah, come on. Okay, I'm gonna take the attack of opportunity here. Okay.
Thank you. That was too close. Don't look at me like that. I am a Mindflayer, yes. Without me, you would be a slave to the Absolute.
Of all the things to be indebted to, a bloody Mindflayer.
It was necessary. Rare are those that would openly consider a partnership with a Mindflayer. Even those who are on a path of becoming one. I was someone once. Someone just like you. An adventurer. I came from Baldur's Gate, though I was never one to be constrained by circumstance. I longed for more. That longing brought me to Moonrise Towers on a search for treasure. To a colony of Mindflayers who caught me, changed me into what I am now. For years, I served the Elder Brain. The one you know as the Absolute. I was a thrall like any other, but I was fortunate. I broke free and started a new life in my old city. I sustained myself on criminals. Unglamorous, but there are plenty of them, rarely missed. And they fueled me while I did my work. I had the good fortune to meet Duke Stillmain. We formed a partnership, and through her, I became the governing force behind the Knights of the Shield. The largest mercantile operation in Baldur's Gate. People referred to me as the Emperor. Such was my influence. Though of course, they had no idea what I really was. My needs were sated. I was happy for a while. Until my true nature was discovered by the tyrant himself, Lord Gortash. He tore me from my home and brought me back to the Brain, where I became a slave once again. A slave he continued to call the Emperor. The name was intended as a slight, to remind me of the heights from which I fell. But I have grown fond of it. It encapsulates well who I've become. Indeed, his hubris knows no bounds. To enslave me, that was his nature. But to enslave an Elder Brain, a questionable decision. I shall look forward to sharing his downfall with you. Rather them than potential future allies, like you. We fought to tame Prince Orpheus, the son of Gith herself. His power has been the source of your continued protection against the voice of the Absolute. The power to disrupt hive-mind communication. It is the same power that enabled Orpheus's mother to bring about the fall of the Elitid Empire eons ago. A power she passed on to him, and that I leveraged for you. When Orpheus's mother left, a usurper took her place. Vlaakith declared herself queen of the Githyanki. Vlaakith wanted his power, but Orpheus rose against her, and so she sealed him and his honor guard within this prison. Bound by infernal chains, Orpheus could never leave. Bound by duty, his guard never would. They were close to breaking my honor, my prince. And if they had succeeded, we would be lost. I am relieved. You have embraced your potential enough that you could help me eliminate them. Alone, Orpheus will be much easier to control. No. Gortash sent me on a mission to retrieve the Astral Prism. I was one of many, but the first to find it. How Gortash or the other chosen learned of its existence, I do not know. The moment I found it, I felt a change. My free will returning. I followed the feeling inside, and found Orpheus. I realized what the prism was for. Containment. While my body was within the prism's bounds, my mind was free. I could resist the Elder Brain, the Chosen. Better yet, I could plan to overthrow them. All I needed to do was subdue Orpheus and find allies in the outer world. You. Most certainly Orpheus. He is a threat to her reign. Some Githyanki still revere him in defiance of their teachings. Vlaakith was safe as long as they believed him to be dead. But as you can see, he is very much alive. She kept him this way because she was reluctant to eradicate such power. Power that she might one day wish to take from him. If the Githyanki ever find out what she has done, there will be civil war. Vlaakith will be finished. That would be a terrible idea. The moment he is free, he will attack you. Your only defense would be to kill him. And in so doing, he would doom us both.
Even though he is subdued, you feel Orpheus's revulsion. A pulsing hatred that cannot be contained. The Emperor is telling the truth. To him, you are just another wretched illithid.
You carry a tadpole. As far as Orpheus is concerned, you are already a illithid. A sworn enemy, just like me. I appreciate that. But this is what I am. My original body was destroyed when I transformed. When I first escaped the Elder Brain, I searched for a new vessel. But the longer I inhabited this one, the more it grew on me. I realized that returning to my former self would only impose limitations. Any advantage I could gain by restoring my original appearance, I already had to hand in the form of magic, and that humanoid shape you've come to know. As an illithid, I have far surpassed who I ever was before. You, too, should embrace this change. I believe we'll have a better chance of defeating the Elder Brain if you embrace your latent illithid potential. I've been studying you for a while now. I believe I can trigger the next stage of your tadpole's life cycle, while continuing to preserve your independence. You have seen what I can do. Imagine yourself with the same strength, the same intelligence, the same devastating beauty. If you let me, I can evolve you. You will be able to do things you never thought were possible. There will be physical alterations, of course, but only partial. You will retain most of your current form, and you will soon see that the benefits outweigh any perceived loss. The answer is twofold. One, I can, but it would kill you, as I told you before. Two, Why would I? You have done well with the limited form you have. But you would do far better as an illithid. So, do you wish to evolve or not?
It doesn't matter which of these choices you pick. Realistically, you're probably going to end up at the same location. I'm going to go here just to open up another choice.
Even as you say the words, you feel a lurch of disappointment. Your mind bristles with illithid potential. How could you be so cruel as to deny yourself what you want most in the world?
I felt that. It's your nature. You cannot fight it. So embrace it. It wants to evolve, but it cannot do so alone. It must commune with another. A tadpole, nurtured by the psionic energy of the astral plane, cocooned here for millennia. It has become extraordinary.
Okay, so 3 choices here. The top one, eat it, you do not want to do. That is a single use of the astral touched tadpole, and you want to have the abilities contained within it to be able to give to all of your party members at some point. Open your mind to the tadpole as if you want to do the transformation now. You will transform, the tadpole will go into your inventory, and then you can talk to the others about trying to convince them to do it as well. The last option allows you to postpone the transformation and do it whenever you want. It will still give you the astral touch tadpole in your inventory. It just won't do the transformation now, but you can click on it and open your mind to it at any time. I'm going to just choose the bottom option here. Because of my choices here, I can give myself advantage and guidance on this. The DC's 21, so I'm going to have to roll really high on this. I'm going to use 1 inspiration at the most on it, and no more. Well, I roll a nat 20. I roll a nat 20 and a nat 1. That's pretty good.
A wave of disappointment, stronger than any you've ever felt. And then stillness. You've resisted your illithid instincts. For now.
You are not ready yet. Keep hold of it then, until you are. It has enough vitality to further your evolution, and your allies. Perhaps you will be more inclined to try it when you see more of what our enemy can do. But we mustn't lose focus. We need to resume our journey. You heard the Chosen. The brain has gone to the city, and the army marches to follow. We must not let them reach it. We must find the brain, and bring it under our control.
Okay, so let's go ahead and lose our Slayer form here. We will... The question becomes, where's Astarian's body at? Okay, so it's up there.
How many die today? How many die tomorrow?
I don't know if I'm going to...
Good idea, I think.
I can do it from here. Okay. Now, for Astarian, that death doesn't mean anything. Bual's Benediction is one of the few permanent buffs that remain through a death. So for him, there wasn't any real downsides to that, other than the fact, obviously, we couldn't use him in the fight. And he would have been very, very useful. But again, the Zephyr The Zephyr and the Prelate are the two that are by far the worst to deal with. And you saw the reason why right there. So let's... Okay. Yes.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay. The only thing it did do is remove his elixir. Okay, and we're going to need that because we want to go through here and pick up everything. There's a lot of stuff in here. And we're going to have Astarion go around and pick it all up. And then I say that, and the first three things I click on don't have anything. The Intellect Devourers normally have cerebellums on them that you want to pick up. The Prelate is going to have the Boots of Uninhibited Kashigo. The warrior deals additional damage equal to their Wisdom modifier with unarmed strikes. And this is where the Experienced and Deadly trait came from. We are definitely going to have Astarion pick those up, and I should have just clipped Equip. Right now he's got the Boots of Speed, which are nice, but this giving him for every unarmed strike, and that includes both strikes of Flurry of Blows, he's now going to be able to add +3 to each one of those. Okay. Okay, so we'll just go around here and we'll just search real quick. Flesh to Stone is a nice debilitating spell. Oops, didn't mean to pick that up. I'll get rid of it later. There's another Divine Bone Shard. That's for the Universal Resistance Elixir. Okay, now we'll head back toward where we came in. Because all of these cerebellums are for the elixirs of psychic resistance, which come in very, very handy in a couple of fights that you're going to have later. These two items you can't pick up. The Void Bulb is also very nice. Okay, the slate here talks about an imposing female with a regal aspect, the other a devil. Their hands meet in an exchange of an artifact, the Astral Prism. This is talking about when Vlaakith made a deal with a devil. How many devils do we know right now? In exchange for a way to imprison Orpheus and take over the Githyanki race. And this is obviously in reference to Vlaakith and how she gained control over the Githyanki at the very, very beginning. Okay, so we have a little bit more searching that we can do here. Some more chasm creepers here. Then we can make our way back up here where we had the first fight. Okay, just a couple more things. There's an acid bulb over here. And again, these are all things that you don't want to delay getting into the fights to search while you're coming down here. Okay. And this is a reference to Orpheus, who is currently chained up. This is the platform that we started on. Oh, and actually I wanted to check something. I didn't check this in my personal playthrough. There's another platform up here. And there is a gilded chest back here. We found this during the first visit to the Astral Prism, but the Astral Prism resets in between the two encounters. So there's another chest back here that you can pick up. Because, yeah, all of the items in here reset after the first time you're here. So I had forgotten to check that in my personal playthrough, and it's a good thing I came back here and checked it. Free gold, which we are definitely going to need. And I forgot about this as well. Almost forgot about this. I don't know if I can get up here from here. I can. More weave moss for crafting. Oh, another divine bone shard. Definitely want to pick that up. Okay. And can I jump down here? I can. Okay, and that should be everything that I can search in here.
Everything is clear. One day I'll catch a break.
And it shouldn't matter, but I will refresh Astarian's Longstrider. So I think that's all. Lord Henry says that there's still more. Even if I could, Andy, I probably wouldn't. This is all chasm. This is all chasm. There's nothing over there. I didn't see anything back here. Back you mean up at the very start where we came in? Okay, so up here is where we were. Okay, there's nothing else out here. This is all chasm. Oh, there is this whole area back here. Thank you very much.
A little souvenir.
I don't know if I remembered this place. I definitely didn't do this in my personal playthrough. So thank you once again. I appreciate it. Again, why I love my community. Y'all are always so helpful. I really enjoy it. Thank you very much. Scroll of Ice Storm. Okay, and this is back up at the start where we just were with the gilded chest. So I think that's it. Because we've already been up over on this side through all of this. And there's nothing else out here.
Must lug my guts through this hell.
Okay, so now we're done. So we will head back to the material plane here. Well, I'm going to head back. If there's another chest that I missed somewhere up there, not going to worry about it too much. I've walked around enough missing stuff, but I certainly appreciate it. It's not the most engaging gameplay here for y'all. When you come back, you'll see that the Githyanki who were here are now dead. Okay, they're not going to have anything on them. And your camp is a little odd. Alright, the only people that are here are the people that were in the party with you.
So, there's been a Mindflayer inside the artifact, or Astral Prism, the whole time we've had it. Sounds like utter madness, even though I've seen it with my own eyes. The more I learn, the less I understand just why I was sent to retrieve that thing. But it matters little now. Lady Shah has given me a new mission, and the prism plays no part in it. In fact, it seems like the Mother Superior's concern alone, and she has strayed from the Dark Lady. She will be in for a rude awakening when I finally stand before her again. But I digress. Did you want something?
Shadowheart's, yeah. Little anger coming out there. We're going to do a couple of things in here before I leave. The first of which is there's a bunch of berry bushes. This camp is unique. You're not going to come back to this camp. I'm going to pick up all of the berries out of these berry bushes. Because I'm going to be getting to the point where every little buff is going to be helpful. And the berries offer a very useful buff that you can get very, very easily. And I think that's it.
I need a moment for the two of us.
You wish to consult me?
Okay, so nothing special there. And Astarian here.
So, we owe our lack of tentacles to one of the very creatures that kidnapped us. And now it's offering us power if we're willing to evolve.
Okay, nothing else there. Now let's head back in here, and I wasted that elixir with Astarian. I shouldn't have given it back to him. I was just in the mindset of buffing him up, but it's going to be lost here in a second.
Here we go.
So now we can head to bed. Okay. So we're going to have a conversation with Lae'zel. That whole thing there, we need to let her know what happened.
Your parasite communes with Lae'zel's. Her heart races as she learns of the events inside the Astral Prism.
Orpheus, Gith's only son. He lives. It is not the Geich visitor that Vlaakith would destroy and Voss would set free. It is Orpheus, the blood of the mother, the prince of the comet. Listen close. The Emperor spoke only in half-truths. For you to know the tale of Orpheus, you must know the tale of Gith and of Vlaakith. Long ago, when we rose up against our Geich slavers, Mother Gith made for the Hells to secure an alliance with the archdevil Tiamat. Tiamat gifted the Githyanki our red dragons. Gith remained in the Hells, and Tiamat's envoy proclaimed Vlaakith our ruler. The first Vlaakith of many. It is Vlaakith 157 whom my people now call Queen. Yes. Our current queen has claimed undeath and reigned for 1,000 years. But it was the first whom Orpheus tried to slay. Orpheus is Gith's only son. He led his mother's own honor guard in a coup against Vlaakith I. It was Kithrak Voss himself who slayed the prince in vicious battle, or so the Varshas teach us. Yet the Prince of the Comet's been with us, subdued by that repugnant illithid. Should Orpheus go free, he would tear Vlaakith's empire to pieces and build new glory from the scraps. Seed and the sower. Every word Voss spoke, he spoke true. Orpheus is the living proof of the Queen's lies, and the living weapon that conquered our Geich slavers. One word from his lips, and the people would doubt. 2 words, and they would rage. 3 words, and they would bow to the true heir. If the Githyanki are to be free, the Prince of the Comet must lead the way. What about him? The historical slates describe Orpheus as a fearsome, terrible creature, powerful beyond measure, and enthralled by the Geich. So mad with power, he'd smash through the Githyanki Empire and deliver the shards to his illithid masters. And glowing with such psionic force that he and his red dragon blazed a trail through the skies. A lethal comet careening towards my people. Lies, of course. Vlaakith spread a false image of Orpheus as monstrous betrayer, and her knights as the butchers who sliced him through. She was right to fear him, I'll grant her that. So great is the comet, it could shatter her reign. The Emperor may be loathsome, but it's right. Orpheus can disrupt a Geich hive mind. A talent like that makes the Prince a powerful shield,
and a powerful weapon. Why destroy a weapon like that, when you can contain it in a relic and keep it for yourself? A weapon is only an asset for as long as it isn't pointed at you. The means of Vlaakith's own end has been ripped away from her. Better to have Orpheus killed than to risk his escape. Better to risk the rise of Illithids than let the Prince of the Comet deny her the godhood she craves. Orpheus is honor guard, loyal to the end. Trapped by Vlaakith in the same prism holding their noble prince, fruitlessly hacking at the sphere that contains him. They see us as geich, tadpoled husks in the Emperor's thrall. I regret their deaths, but I pledge to live as they perished, in the service of Gith's son. Very well.
Okay, so that's it from Lae'zel. That's going to update some more of our journal entries. We obviously have the main quest line here. Free Orpheus, we now need to meet with Kithrak Voss. That's been updated. We completed helping the Mindflayer inside. Now it wants us to commune with the Astral Touch Tadpole, and that's something the game wants you to do. Like I say, with a DC of 21 or a wisdom save, a pure wisdom save, or wisdom check, it wants you to fail that. It does. We will end up doing it. We're certainly going to do it, just not right this second. And obviously Kithrak we need to meet up with again. We learned that Karlach wants to get revenge against Gortash. We know that Lae'zel wants to speak with Kithrak Voss. Astarion says that we need to find some of his fellow spawn. We will be meeting up with them, and yes, they will come to us in our sleep. And Gale wants to go to Sorceress Sundries to continue his quest line. I don't know why Yurgir's contract did I just not click on that. And the Shadow Curse has now been lifted. That is now complete. So we are completely free to head into Act 3. Let's just quickly make sure of conversations.
Like Alderan's bones, this is a lot to take in. Let's see if I've got this right. 1, we've been carrying a Mindflayer around with us this whole time. 2, it's been appearing as someone else in our dreams, cajoling us to embrace our new Illithid talents. 3, the Mindflayer's been siphoning a Githyanki prisoner's powers to shield us from the Absolute's voice. Did I miss anything? How could I forget? One of Baldur's Gate's most distinguished figures, a Mindflayer's ally. Sensational tales, aren't they? Almost unbelievable. With a narrator so unreliable, how do we tell fact from fiction? I can't pretend I have the answer, but I know the Illithid's right about one thing. It holds our fates in its talons. Until the Absolute falls, there's no getting rid of it.
Okay, and we have all the options there for the Illithid tadpoles, which we're going to deal with in a minute. I do want to make sure that we have all of these. Click to hide during dialogue. Okay, I noticed something interesting there. Shadowheart we've already talked to.
Gods. A Mindflayer's been getting their tentacles all over our dreams this whole time. I'm really not sure about putting any trust at all in this thing. It's already shown itself a liar. I've got my eyes on the Emperor, and Karlach doesn't blink.
Even though you blink several times in the cutscene, I get what you mean.
Copper for your thoughts.
Okay, let's put on Speak with Animals.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
Well, thank you for the torch, Scratch. Shouldn't have anything with
You wish
Minthara.
to consult me?
Oh, quite the rug pull, eh? A Mindflayer manipulating us this whole time. Such creatures are not to be trusted as a general rule, though this one does appear to have had a significant hand in our survival up to this point. At best, an ally whose motivations remain shrouded in deceit. We should be wary of what such an alliance may cost us.
I can. Sure, I can go click on one. Starian, we've already talked to. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, these don't reset. During the long rest. Okay, there's something interesting that happened. I didn't notice this in my personal playthrough. How many of you have noticed what's missing? And I don't mean the berries, but thank you. There's something missing. Jaheira is gone. Halsin's here. Jaheira's gone, and there's no scrolling here. She's not in the camp. I didn't notice this in my personal playthrough. But I'm starting to wonder if, because of the whole Death of Last Light thing. Let's go up here. She should be showing up on the map. There's Halsin. There's Jaheira. She's here. She doesn't show up, though, in the companion list.
So your mysterious artifact, Tamer of Parasites, is only another parasite itself. How do you feel, knowing the cost of keeping your transformation at bay? No notions of heroism put you above human failings. I should know. I've had my share of songs written about me. Illithids are monstrous creatures. But in the end, they are only that. Creatures. And if it can, a parasite will keep its host fat, happy, and safe. Until it is finished feeding, at least. Am I comforting you? I am not comforting myself. Use the Emperor as it would use you. Or discard it. My days of doubting you are done.
I'm going to try something here. I'm going to drop a save. I'm going to try and bring her into our party.
Are we ready for the road once more? Flattered as I am, you're fully supported as it is. Then let us be about it.
Okay, so she does show up in the party. Now I can access her inventory. Let's go talk to Shadowheart here real quick. Bring her back in and then see if she shows up in the party list or not.
We've had a Mindflayer whispering to us in our dreams all this time. I really shouldn't be surprised by anything at this stage. Still, it seems keen to be an ally in its own way. Compared to what we're up against, I'm not sure that's a bad thing. A bit crowded, don't you think? Wonderful.
Okay, so now she's in. Okay. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to, because of a glitch in how we did things, I wasn't going to be able to access her inventory without her being in the party. Was the only thing that I was worried about. But now she's here in the list. So, that's good. One last person to talk to is Halson.
So your confidant was a Mindflayer all along. Disquieting, to say the least.
Okay, and we're going to have conversations in depth with Jaheira and Halson once we get into Act 3. I'm just not going to have them now. So here we're going to leave camp.
We must find where Gortash and Orin have established themselves and take their nether stones.
That's very true. So let's quickly get the buffs going again. Minthara has
Let's get on with it.
You need my expertise.
the sword on her back. So we will shapeshift her. Put those back. Put the sword back. And now that it's on her back again,
There is work to do.
we will have Shadowheart. And then we will re-equip. Astarian will take his elixir.
Still in control.
Okay.
Just.
And that is going to get us to a point to stop for the day. Have I thought about a playthrough where I reject everything illithid? Is it possible? It certainly is. A really good YouTube content creator for Baldur's Gate 3 content, Morgan Evelyn, I believe, is her channel name. She has done all sorts of challenge runs, quote unquote, in honor mode, where she's gone through solo, no gear, no long rests, no short rests, all that sort of stuff. And one of them was no illithid tadpole powers at all. No usage of them, no gaining of them, except where, like, if you fail that wisdom roll there and you automatically gain the powers. Doesn't mean you have to use them. So for her, you can go check out some of the content, but it is certainly possible to play through the entire playthrough and not gain or use any illithid powers at all. But yeah, not for us. I'm not not interested in all the challenge runs. They're pretty hairy to watch. So, on that note, I think we're going to end the stream today. I've got to give my voice a little rest and get ready for the Dragon Age Veilguard live stream here in an hour. So, as always, thank you all for being here. My community, I've told you guys before, or all of you before, you're all great. I really enjoy all the interactions that I have with all of you, and you contribute a lot to the stream as well as the playthroughs, and I certainly appreciate that. Because as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.